Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the McGonigal Boxing Podcast. So let's get straight down to it. So obviously it's the big fight tonight, Logan Paul, Floyd Mayweather. Whether we like it or not, it's going to do huge numbers on Showtime, especially in America. Sky Sports pay-per-view, probably not so much. I think our British fans don't care as much about Logan Paul as the American media do. I also think, without sounding patronising, I think the English and British fans know that it's going to be a circus, whereas the Americans sort of seem to buy into this being competitive. It won't be. Even though, Paul weighed in at 190, Mayweather weighed in at 155, so there's a £35 difference. Mayweather's tiny at 5'7". I don't think he's even 5'8". Some people give him 5'8". He's about 5'7". Paul's 6'2", so there's 7 inches, probably about 10-inch reach difference, but it doesn't matter, you see, because boxing is not about size, it's about skill set. And unfortunately for Paul, he has none compared to Mayweather, who's one of the leading boxers of his generation, him and Pacquiao. So, yeah, it's even at Mayweather 44, his reaction's probably going to be a bit slower, but Paul's still not going to hit him. And Mayweather's going to do what he did with Conor, really. He's going to decide how and when he wants to beat him. He might walk him down and just tire him out and make it a little bit more competitive, allow Logan Paul to try and swing tee off on him. He won't catch him. Or, at 44, he might still just box on the outside and just pick Logan Paul apart and then eventually stop him, probably with a late TKO. I think Mayweather's going to go for an early stoppage, though. I think he was so offended. He's got such an ego that when Jake Paul took his hat, and I also think there's a quite a snarky, sinister undertone to Mayweather. I don't think he likes the Paul brothers for many reasons, and I think he's going to enjoy sort of humiliating them, making a statement. I think he's looking to actually hurt Paul tonight. I don't think he's going to be like a Muhammad Ali exhibition type fight where you could see Muhammad Ali was sort of showing a lot of kindness to his opponents. I think Mayweather's going to go out and try and hurt this guy, and I think he'll stop him early. I don't think it'll go past 3 rounds. That's my take on it. I think he's just going to walk Paul down. I have absolutely no respect for Paul's punching power, because Paul is not even Jake Paul. That's the problem. I would like to see Mayweather fight Jake Paul. That'd be far more competitive, not Logan Paul, who can hardly box. And I had him beating KSI. I think he really knocked KSI out. That was a shocking decision, but on the record, it says he lost to KSI. So it's a circus of a fight, really. And like I say, I don't think it'll go 3 rounds. I think Mayweather walking down. I think Logan Paul won't be realising how much difference of a sting Mayweather can have compared to these exhibition fights he's been having with KSI. And Mayweather can sting. He can punch. Don't be fooled, especially if you're a non-boxer. And I just think he'll catch Paul to the body and he'll sting him. And I think he'll knock him out. I think it will go about 3 rounds. I think Mayweather may allow it to go 1 round. Second round he'll probably beat him up, and third round he'll end it. That's how I see it. I don't think it will go to full distance, even though it's an 8-round fight now with no judges, so it's a bit of a freak show to start off with. I can see Mayweather wanting to hurt this guy. I don't think he likes the Paul brothers. I think he felt disrespected by Jake Paul, taking his hat. He's got such an ego. Like I said, I think he's going to stop him. Is it good for boxing? I don't know, because it draws eyeballs, doesn't it? Like I say, it draws a young audience that maybe not be interested in boxing. So there's pros in that respect. Cons, of course, because you end up having more and more of these events and turns it into a circus. I mean, now Jake Paul's fighting Tyron Woodley in a boxing fight, and there's more and more talk. KSI's coming back into it. So all these YouTubers starting to take over boxing and taking over big spots and big paydays that should really go out to the likes of Josh Taylor, Rigas Prograis, and Ramirez. These kind of fighters that should have the exposure, and they're proper boxers who've fought all their life to earn their way up to the top spot. But they're not getting that because they're being taken over by the YouTubers. So there's pros and cons, but ultimately the boxers need to look at this and go, we need to do more. We need to self-promote, self-publicise like the Paul brothers. There's the blueprint. We need to make people care, because when people care, they invest in money. So in many ways, a lot of boxers need to level up. It's not okay just appearing on Instagram, once a week. You've got to do more. You've got to self-promote. You've got to cause waves. Do what it takes. Mayweather did. Oscar De La Hoya did. These guys know how to self-publicise, self-promote. A lot of these fighters don't. And if your promoter's not doing enough, get onto them, tell them, or leave them. It's that simple. Take your career by the ball and take it and control it yourself. Don't let other people do it, because it's a short career. You need to promote and earn as much money as you can. And that's one thing I credit Tony Bellew with. He did that. He knew how to. You become the gobby scoutser, and he changed promoters with Hearn, and he pushed himself. He was on every other Sky Sports show, wasn't he? Trying to get exposure. Still is in many ways. And that's what you need to do. Take ownership, promote like the Paul brothers do. They're not shy. They know, and they earn the big money. So good luck to him in many ways. Like I say though, but it's a bit of a freak show. Please don't think this will be competitive tonight. I'll be very surprised if Logan Paul lands at all on Mayweather. He just doesn't throw a punch quick enough or technically correct. It looks very awkward. And I'm comparing this to, not just boxing amateur, dramatic fights. I'm talking about proper elite pro boxers. He doesn't throw properly. He's wide open, wide stance, and he's too slow. And Mayweather will see these punches coming all day long, and he'll just counter. He'll beat Paul to the punch. And I actually think Mayweather will walk him down. I think he might just, take a look in the first round, but he'll start walking around realising this guy can't throw technically correct punches. He can't hit me, can't hurt me, and I think he'll stop him with short, sharp punches that will just break Paul down. So there's my take on it. I'm not going to personally pay for the fight. I don't think it's value for money. I don't think it's worth it. There might be all this outside entertainment. You might have some Hollywood stars, so to speak, come up, and you might have, these performers pre-fight, but it's not worth it for me. I pay for the fighting, and it's not going to be anything of note. And I can see people actually booing when they come outside the ring. I think that'll be one of these scenarios where people boo and demand their money back. But don't say I didn't warn you. But listen, they're both going to earn great money, and good luck to them at the end of the day. That's my take on it. You watch it if you want tonight. Sky Sports box office, and I'll see you real soon next week for some proper boxing talk.